where do you think that this would rank in terms of ranking every Super Bowl? I
I'll
will
have to look at your list, so you would be better equipped. But I loved it. It was a fun Super Bowl for me for sure.
Well, I'm gonna give you the last year's Super Bowl between the Bucks and there have been, you got to remember, there were a ton of really bad Super Bowls for a really long time because there were just a bunch of blowouts.
You know, the other takeaway before you go on, and it relates to last Super Bowl and this one, obviously, you got to build your offensive line. I mean, that has to happen.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Brinson, when you're doing your list, do you elevate games that you were at? Naturally, that would make sense, but do you elevate them kind of on your list because of how you got to experience it live? Obviously, not being at the past two, but you were there from, 2010 to 2020?
I don't know that I do it consciously. I probably do it subconsciously. Right. I also had like an insane run of Super Bowls that we were at. I mean, the one
I will say, like our last Super Bowl was in Miami. It was Chiefs 49ers. That game I don't know how it felt on television. In person, it felt that throw from Mahomes to Tyreek. You're like, oh my God, that's unbelievable.
I had that game at let's see. All right. So I had last year's Super Bowl Bucks over Chiefs at 26. Which is crazy to think about. There's just that many bad Super Bowls.
I was gonna say that feels like it's a little bit below
24 was 49ers over Bengals 26-21.
1988.
Yep. Steelers, Cowboys, Packers, Patriots, Eagles. I mean, like a ton of these modern Super Bowls. It's just been a great run for these guys.
Start with 10. What's 10 and work up?
19, by the way, was Chiefs 49ers.
Oh, so, wow. All right.
10 was all right, so 10 was the San Antonio Holmes catch.
Okay.
9 was the Joe Namath guaranteed victory.
Sure.
8 was the Kevin Dyson coming up just short, the last Rams Super Bowl.
Great recreation by Chris Hassel and the Pick Six podcast.
It was
non-Super Bowl winning spoof.
7 was I think was it the catch, right? Was Montana over the Bengals in the second one?
No, I thought you just mentioned that game. You mentioned the 26.
Not the catch. It's the second. It's Super Bowl XX 23.
I don't know.
Jerry Rice had the record.
23 was 88. 1988 season.
So maybe the other one was the 81 game.
All right. Jerry Rice had the record breaking.
That was 16. Yep.
Number 6 was Giants over Bills with the wide left.
Oh boy.
Number 5 was Steelers over Cowboys, Super Bowl 13. And I tried to go back and rewatch these so that way I could, because you don't want to be like, that one's old. I don't know anything about that. Number 4, Pats over Falcons. Number 3, Eagles over Pats. 2, the helmet catch. And number 1, Super Bowl 49 in Arizona, the Malcolm Butler game.
Oh, gosh. That's number 1?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's going to be hard for you to replace that one, I feel like. The way that you speak about it, it's going to be hard to supplant.
Wilson and I were sitting next to each other. Don't you agree?
I don't know. I was sitting next to Prisco. Maybe you're on I think you're on the other side.
Maybe so.
And what happened? Well, I mean, you could be on the other side of me. I could have been sitting.
No, I was on the other side of you because you had your camera right there.
Exactly. I didn't see the play happen because I was taking pictures of it.
We were freaking out about our red eye if it went to overtime.
Yeah, I didn't see the play happen because I was actually taking a picture of it. And Prisco's like, I said, "What happened?" He goes, "He intercepted it, dummy." And we were right there in that corner. That was a great game. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what happened was these Pats. This is my theory on it: is that we had so the Pats came around, and because the Pats sometimes would get to the Super Bowl and be good but not great teams, they had
a lot of games they could have lost in the Super Bowl.
But they would these games would end up being ridiculously close because the Patriots would always get there, and they might run into a team that was like the Falcons, that was just a really good Falcons team that, just because of the Patriots, they were able to make it, make things close. I mean, I think this is definitely a top 15 Super Bowl, right? Let me ask you this. Was this better? Debo, I'll say this to answer your question. It probably does elevate it to be there in person.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you at all for that. That makes sense.
I really enjoyed it from home. But I don't know. Breach had great seats. He wasn't there working. He was just there with his family. He had great seats. The the press box seats looked pretty good from what we saw on Twitter, so I'm sure it'd have been fun to watch there too. And the halftime show probably would have put it over the top.
Where would you put this? So 2 Super Bowls you were at, and then another one that are in the 15 to 20 range. The Ravens over the 49ers in Indy, your first one. The Saints over the Colts, which was a 14-point win. But
wait, no, the Indy game was Giants-Pats.
Oh, right. Sorry. New Orleans game, Ravens, 49ers. And then also the Giants Pats, which was at 18.
I mean, Giants Pats was a great game. That was the Manningham catch down the sideline on a fantastic throw by Eli Manning.
I sort of think that this is a similar game to that one.
I think Gronk dropped or had an opportunity to catch the game-winning touchdown in the end zone. He didn't drop it. It was close.
It was like a crazy Hail Mary.
But right, it's one of those things like you expect it to happen for the Patriots. The next year, the lights went out. There's a huge fourth down conversion that helped. I think
the Crabtree near catch. I think this game is kind of similar.
Yeah, and those are both great games.
Real quick, how would you summarize like how you rank best? I know what a best game is, but I'm just surprised. And I know there's been a lot of bad Super Bowls, but that last year comes in at 26. It's better than 20 or 28 other Super Bowls.
So here was the criteria for that. Number 31, by the way, was that Patriots Rams 13-3 game. Like I thought that was worse. Number 30 was Broncos Panthers. I mean, like we're talking like I went back and tried to rewatch all of these. There are a bunch of like 20-point blowouts. Like Raiders 38, Washington football team 9. Giants 39, Broncos 20. There's just a picture of like just a limp John Elway getting destroyed by LT. Broncos 34, Falcons 19. Some of these games are just terrible. And so for me, Debo, on that one in particular, to put it at number like the Colts Bears Super Bowl was trash. That was a bad Super Bowl. The fact that Tom Brady at his age in his first year with a new team and he won the game at home and it was like Mahomes, the Mahomes is a favorite. It was a bad Super Bowl, but I thought that the storyline surrounding Brady with no fans in the stands, the pandemic year, I thought that it that moved it up a little bit for me.
Also helps that you won $80K that day. I think that just bumps it up at least 5 spots.
Just for clarification, there were 20,000 fans. We just looked that up because I thought there were more people than that, but there were only 20,000. But still, not less than half full.
And the other thing that for this one was I went and I was going through we did this at when I was at the Lakers game with a friend of the program, Drew Dinsick, and some guys, and we were trying to figure out where we'd rank it. And I got to Steelers Seahawks. I was like, there's no way Chiefs and 49ers is worse than Steelers Seahawks. It's a pretty comparable game. I was going to put it one spot ahead of that. So that was
Chiefs 49ers or Chiefs Bucks?
Chiefs Bucks, excuse me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, you start going through this list, you're like, man, these Super Bowls kind of stunk for a long time.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If they did every game in the regular season with all the pomp and circumstance that they do these Super Bowls, you just buying in. Like it's 8 hours of pregame coverage. There's a halftime show. I mean, obviously you get tired of it, but just the way they build it up, that you sort of find reasons to like it. But there have been some real stinkers. Is last I don't know if you said last already. Is that the Atlanta Super Bowl? The Rams Pats?
No, I had 49ers over the Chargers.
Oh, well, at least there were points in that game. I mean,
next to last was the New York Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl. The Atlanta.
Wait, the Rams Patriots isn't.
Rams Patriots was a close game.
Oh, so hard to watch.
It was tough to watch, but Broncos Seahawks is just it's over in like 5 or 10 minutes.
Where are you on that, Debo? Do you like? I prefer watching blowouts, even if I don't have an interest in either team, as opposed to just like a 10-3 slog or whatever that game ended up being.
You're saying like a high scoring, big time blowout versus, right? I think some of these games too, it's kind of like how you remember money being attached to it. And I know you haven't gambled since 1993, since Doggy Style was released. But,
you're not wrong.
Yeah, and in a Super Bowl, if it's gonna be a bad game, so to say, I would rather have the bad game blowout rather than the.
I'd rather have a. I mean, I felt like I didn't really love that Atlanta Super Bowl at all either, but because we were also expecting. Remember, we saw Chiefs and Rams in the regular season and tons of points, and we were expecting the same thing because the Pats had a good offense. We were sort of expecting points. It didn't come. I mean, I don't know. I just felt like I feel like if a game, I would rather have a close. A game lacking offense than a 55-12 drubbing.
I always say I like low scoring games if it's good defense and you can tell that it's good defense. I don't even know if that game was truly good defense as much as it was just embarrassing offense.
Yeah, I think
Belichick figured out Sean McVay's outside end runs and put it on him.
I think Sean has like a chance to come back to CBS at some point in the future if law school doesn't work out because of Sean McVay's ring now.
Oh, good point.
Oh
Good point.
boy,
Because that's why he got fired. Everybody knows that.
I love that you tweeted that out.
We get fired. Like the Bills Super Bowls for by and large are pretty bad. I don't know. I for any game that I hadn't watched, I tried to go back and rewatch it. But
You've said that 3 times now. You must. We believe you. We know you watch the games. You must not have watched.
How do you watch them? Tell us. How do you watch them?
YouTube or like just found. I mean, it was hard to find video. The initial version of this article took a very, very long time to write.
No, you rewatch every year.
No,
and learn new things.
No.
No, he says no, Debo. Hard no.
Hard no. I don't need to rewatch. I remember these. I didn't rewatch any of the ones I'd watched. I might have rewatched I might have just gone back and watched like the highlights of the Seahawks Pats, because some of the things you forget is there's this insane Julian Edelman catch, and then I think Jermaine Kearse made the crazy catch on the sidelines where it like popped up in the air and landed in his hands, all leading up to the Malcolm Butler play.
Right.
And,
I don't know if it's Kearse or not, but yeah, I remember that play too.
Yeah, and like
that Super Bowl was Matthews. Was it like Chris Matthews in that game that made the crazy?
That's
catch?
Who I think it was. Debo, the guy who had one good game his whole entire career.
Well, it's like that one, and Eagles Pats where it just changed, like the ramifications coming out of it for both of those games were just enormous. I mean, the Seahawks losing and not hitting the ball to Marshawn basically like blew up the Legion of Boom. Nick Foles beating Tom Brady essentially ruined Carson Wentz's career.
Future Steelers.
I mean, what could this game do? What could this game like mean in the future as we get a couple of years away from it?
I mean, I think the obvious one is,
you walk right into that one, dummy.
The obvious one is the Matthew Stafford thing. I mean, I do think I understand nobody wants to give me this, and that's fine. I just think
they're not going to.
I think after he finishes, if he plays 3 or 4 more years with the Rams and plays 15 or 16 to 17 games per year and puts up the stats that he should put up in that offense, he'll get in. I think we will look at this as a possible turning point for the Bengals, depending on what they do from a front office standpoint. Now, they're in good shape. That roster's good. But if we get 2 more years down the road and if Joe Burrow has another knee injury next year because he's getting sacked more than anybody in the entire NFL, the drumbeat will grow a little bit for, are the Bengals running the risk of, is this an Andrew Luck situation? I guess I think we could start to look at, where Luck just got beat up so badly that you're like, oh my God, this guy was a stone cold lock to be a great talent, and they're wasting him. I think that's a possibility.
No, it is. I think they have $60 million in cap space, have draft picks that you just fix the offensive line, and then once you do that, you do what the Saints do.
And I mean, Aaron, we talked about it leading up to the game too. Aaron Rodgers played in 1 Super Bowl. Drew Brees played in 1 Super Bowl. These guys are first ballot slam dunk Hall of Famers. Dan Marino played in 1 Super Bowl. Talk about 3 guys who are in the top 10. Right?
Where are you
10.
going with this?
Just that it's easy to say, well, Joe Burrow will be back.
Oh, I thought you were going to make another Matthew Stafford thing. No, that's right. I think that's important to say. That Joe Burrow, you don't know. It could be a long time. Ben Roethlisberger got to it in year 2, got to it in 2008 and 10, and then he hasn't been back in 12 years. You just don't know. Unless you're Tom Brady, there are no guarantees that you're going to play in the Super Bowl.
Kevin Stewart in the chat points out Patriots Panthers was a great Super Bowl. That was number 11, so that's the only reason we didn't hear.
The kickoff that went out of bounds. Good Lord.
Yeah, I had the Patriots basically have 7 of the top 12 Super Bowls, I think. No, because they have 6 of the top 12 Super Bowls and like 3 of the top 4. But yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow, you look at where this division is. The Steelers are losing Roethlisberger. Baker Mayfield's future is very much up in the air, and that would, I mean, if your former number 1 pick you thought was a franchise quarterback suddenly is not there anymore, the Lamar Jackson stuff is, you still have to get him to a contract.
Yeah, they have holes. I think the issue isn't the AFC North. The issue is the AFC West, I suppose, and the AFC East with
the issue is the Chiefs and the Bills,
and Mac Jones.
Sure, and we talked about.
I'm kidding. It's the Bills and their homes.
Well, I mean, the thing with the Bills and the Chiefs, we talked about this before the playoffs, that the Bengals had a good path to the playoffs or to the Super Bowl because they only had to play the Bills or Chiefs, only one of them. They didn't have to play both guys. That's enormous. And so, it's not going to work out like that every year. You might end up in a situation where you got to play both of those teams, and it makes it a lot harder to get back to the Super Bowl. I think there's a more likely chance that the Rams play in the Super Bowl next year than the Bengals.
Yeah, I think you're right. Even though I sort of think the Bengals are in better shape personnel wise and salary cap wise. Also, they're going to be playing the first place schedule, so that's something.
That's a good point.
And they'll be a better football team than they were this year when they only won 10 football games because they were up and down and they're a young football team. And you would expect that. So, but they have a lot of places to improve. And if they don't address the offensive line like the Packers don't address the wide receiver position, then Zach Taylor should be fired immediately. Well, I guess
that's not necessarily his job, but yeah, they should. Yeah, they need to. That offensive line has to get better.